Welcome back, Shifting to the Gears. I'm Kyoshin Sako, and today we're back to talk some more about the Daily Drift Competition Series Round 2. Today I've got Ryan Kost and Dylan. I'm not even going to try to say your last name because I completely forgot it. Starts with, I think, an S.
Yep, Dylan Schultz.
Awesome. Thank you guys for hopping on. Appreciate it. Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself? Let everybody know a little bit about you.
All right. Well, I'm Ryan Kost. I've been drifting for roughly about almost going on 4 years. I pilot the crappy painted red 350Z at Daily Drift. But coming next year, I'll be bouncing between like 4 or 5 different comp cars.
Oh, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What the hell? Dylan, what about you, man?
Okay, my name's Dylan. I pilot a 2JZ 350Z. Been drifting for 7 or 8 years now. Been, kind of trying to get more seat time. Battled a lot of issues with the car the last couple of years. So this is my first actual good seat time year. So I'm actually been developing a lot throughout the year. Since the first round, I did terrible. Second round, I did a lot better, and I'm getting more comfortable in the chassis, dialing it in more, and just having fun this year.
Sweet. Now I got a quick question. What got you both into 350Zs? Or is that just what you landed on for now?
It's a good question.
I got mine. So my first 350Z was an '03 blue that I got through auction with my dad. And that was five years, probably 4.5, 5 years ago now. And I got it for so cheap. I got it for sub 2 grand. So
Oh Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's a damn good deal.
and,
Deal.
and since then it's just been one of those things where it's the cheapest chassis for what you get out of it.
And Dylan, what about you? What got you into yours?
So I originally started drifting with a 240 coupe. I liked that, but it was kind of a missile chassis. So when I got out of that, and I wanted to, get something that was really good and really just every input you put in, you get the perfect output. And all I heard back was the Z is the chassis. So I went and bought one for 4,500 and just developed it, drove it for a year or two with the VQ. Really loved the chassis. So when I bought a 2JZ from my buddy, and yeah, no, this chassis is honestly one of the easiest drifting chassis you can drive.
I'm gonna ask a question I normally ask later because you brought it up. You made it click in my head. What would you say is the second best chassis that people could look into or could get into that has good aftermarket support, that has good community knowledge, and is actually still affordable? I use affordable in a relative term, but it's not going to cost them 15 grand to get into. They can get into for, we'll say, a couple grand or a few grand.
I would have to say the BMW, like an E36 or E46, depending on which model you wanted to go with.
Oh, he stole mine because an E46, hands down, the easiest to say because you can still get them. You can buy a chassis for like sub $500 and then build the chassis around that, and you can get a running and driving E46 for like 4 or 5 grand still. E36s have completely gone up for like depends on what you're going for. If you're going for missile car, you can still go basically with any BMW. You can find a missile car for the price, whatever you need in the BMW world. But if you're looking for like something that's in the middle or very on the cleaner side, black interior, full interior, still doesn't have everything cut out of it, that's definitely like an E36 is I think out of budget for that sense. But I'm gonna be on the other side. I think if you can push past a couple grand and go to like that's just under 10 grand mark, just go find a C5. Don't care about the wiring issues or the like, because most of the wiring issues that vets have are for like creature comforts. So if you
Oh,
don't
like
care
for
about
heated seats or something silly.
yeah, if you don't care about that type of stuff, just go get a C5 for like 7 to 10 grand, and you'll have probably, in my opinion, the best bang for your buck starting off or like basis. Because the FDF Mini Mantis kit, or like they're just like they're both the small bolt-on kit they have, gives you up to like 60 degrees angle, and it's only like I think $300-400 for that little adapter. So even when it comes to like performance for the budget, you can get them to be great drift cars for relatively cheap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you want to, spend a little bit more money, the C5 or C6, if you can even get that much money, would definitely be the best chassis because the LS you can go so far with it. You can get much more power than any other chassis stock engine.
Would you say it's a cheater car?
Ooh.
No, I would say no because they're still really weird and finicky to like dial in my opinion. Like I've
Like,
driven that a handful of times, and I'm going down the rabbit hole of rewiring the whole chassis straight to a Holly. Um, I don't like the whole torque tube setup is really annoying. You don't ever want to maintenance the car. It's one of those things where as a well, I don't even, what was the question again?
no, I was saying, would you call it a cheater car? Because I've heard some people refer to it as in drifting, kind of like a cheater car.
It's a cheap
Because it's a great base platform. You come with power, and it's kind of GM's like, here's a street legal race car.
definitely as like for the power, it's a cheater car, but I don't think the wheelbase makes it a cheater car. The wheelbase is very similar to a Z. I think they're only like a 1 inch different wheelbase. So
Wow.
it depends.
Okay.
So I would say it depends on the track mainly. Because if you were saying if it's a big bank track, like Hawkeye Downs and stuff like that, then hell yeah, dude, it's the absolute cheater car. It has the power to do what you want to do on the track. But if you're looking at like a US Air situation, I would say turboed Miata, turboed FRS, smaller wheelbase, those are going to be the cheater cars at those tracks.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Like last year for Hyperdrift, you had Alex Zier and one of our buddies, Zach, with his Miata. He was on his Alex Zier's door, and Alex Zier makes way more power than his stock Miata did.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. The track definitely comes into it, but I love seeing like the fact that Corvettes are being used now is super cool. I find it like awesome
Love it.
because it took a car that nobody thought of. Like you saw the Mustang come in. I saw a couple Camaros. I don't know how common they are anymore. I saw a few Camaros pop in, then I start seeing it Corvettes. I'm like, dude, do you understand how mad these purists are right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never really say there's any cheater cars in drifting either, though, because I mean, you could set them up no matter how much you want, and it all comes down to driver mod. So there really is no cheater car. It just comes down to driver skill at that point, too.
Very valid. Very valid. Hmm. If you could pick a car to switch yours out with, but your car gets destroyed, what would it be?
Do we get to keep our own motor, or do we have to keep the other motor, or do we have to keep
You
like the stock motor?
it's car swap car for swap car. Everything stays.
Ooh.
I know that hurts you, Dylan.
It's hard for me because it's like I have an FRS, I have a Z, I have the vet. So like I'm trying to think of a car that I just don't have at all.
Let me guess, you have a BMW sitting in the driveway too.
I do. I have one E46 still that I'm selling to a buddy in Florida in the next couple months, but it's just been chilling.
Jesus.
E36. I've wanted to get into the E36 so bad. I just can't find one for a good enough price. That's what
I'll make this one a little bit more interesting for you guys because you guys know a lot of drifters. If you could trade your car gets destroyed, but you can take somebody else's car with their current build right now, who would it be? And mind you, these are questions I normally ask at the end, but the way you guys are talking, I have to ask them.
So it depends. Can we have like so can we do actually make it interesting? I don't know how well Dylan knows the pro scene, but can we do grassroots, like local to the Midwest, kind of like US Air cars, and then
Absolutely.
we'll do like a pro-am pro spec car because I already know who I would like swap out. But obviously like my build's nowhere close to, a pro car yet.
Yeah, let's do those two brackets: local / grassroots Midwest, and then pro spec.
All right. So Dylan,
Okay.
I'll let Dylan go first.
All right. Okay. So I would say for local, it's either going to be Justin Ruth's Z or either Ross and Collins cars because they're kind of similar. They're both big LS cars and just dope as shit. But for comp car, I would definitely have to say Corey Talaska's BMW. That thing is an animal. I got to ride along in it, and that thing is so well built. It is just phenomenal just being around that car.
I just looked at that Z. I didn't know his name. Okay, I understand. I understand.
Actually, yep.
The Ryan, what about you?
I'm trying to think. Because
You want a minute to think?
I was just like Colin and Ross's car are like on that level of being pro, and so I'm trying to think of someone who's like super low key.
The first car
Jacob
I
Anderson.
ever. Wait, Jacob. Have you ever seen Chad? I think his name's Chad Anderson. He's got the Coyote Swap BMW. He's at 50K right now.
Huh.
I think he's at 50K.
Coyote swap. That's something you don't see that often anymore.
So he's the Dayco liveried 4-door sedan. I think it's an E46. But he did a 5.0. I followed this guy for a long time because I met him through like Subarus years back. And he sold off and he's like, I'm in a BMW now and then I'm gonna Coyote swap it in. I was like, okay, like turns out he's featured at or whatever, but that's another option for you guys. I know you guys are saying BMW, but the
I know my local pick.
local go.
Got Jeff, dude. Fucking Jeff in the C6.
Yes.
Oh, is that the dude that had the gentleman that had the drink cooler in front of him?
Yes.
Dude's
Got
hilarious.
Everything.
Oh, dude, that's my local pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, that's a solid pick.
Dude, he's got the quick change. He's got I'm pretty sure it's a GSR, man. He's got, that is one, like that drivetrain is basically built for pro. It just needs probably some air to make the power that you would want to go to Pro-Am with and stuff. But it mainly just needs the chassis work to, full cage, stuff like that, fire suppression. But like the drivetrain itself is basically what you would dream to have. Like that is a dream setup.
Absolutely. And I think
Man,
Daily Drift Round 2 was his first competition with it, or just first time really driving the car. So that was getting comfortable with it was the competition.
And he did that? Jesus. What the hell? Oh man, some of you guys are just monsters out there, dude. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.
Pro. Who you picking, Dylan?
I already had Corey Talaska, man. He's my pro spec. He's the homie. He does so well.
Corey. All right. This is a wild pick, but I would pick one of the Feel suspension S14 cars.
Oh, sure.
Any of them. They're all the same. They're all the same chassis, basically. So any of them. So any of the. Is it Ben Hobson who's been running Pro Spec, right? Ben Hobson and Odie. God, I just because first off, I don't really have good experience with S chassis, so it'd be really cool to get behind one that's dialed. Then let alone have the power that you can do literally anything in. So
absolutely. And those are the most dialed S chassis I've ever seen either.
Those things. I'm a fanboy of Odie, man. I would love to like drive with Odie or just talk to Odie about his cars and stuff. That would be sick.
That would be the dream.
You brought Odie up. Have you ever heard his I think it's the Outer Zone episode?
Oh, I haven't listened. I've listened to most of those. I don't know if I've listened to all of everyone's.
His was very recent, like very recent. Dude, his episode is insane.
Yeah.
Like just the way he talks and his knowledge and like the way people like he can literally look at your car drive and tell you how to change your suspension. Or he has a base like just what he does is neat. He was on August 2nd. But super cool dude, man. His cars are just insane. I was talking to a buddy of mine and he's like, "Yeah, I got to meet Odie." I was like, "How is he?" He goes, "I didn't know what to say." He's like, "I was starstruck." Like he's like, my brain froze. He was like, "All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming checking the cars out. We're gonna get loaded up," because he just stood there and couldn't like didn't know what to do because Odie's just a monster
Yeah.
at what he does. What was your first drift car you rode in, Ryan?
Oh man, I have a video of it. Oh my god, who? I think it's it was at Final Bout like 3 or 4 years ago. And it was like right after I think I already had I don't know if I just got the 350Z yet or I was just about to get the 350Z. But I'm pretty sure it was frick, what's his name? Fish. I think it was one of Fish's S14s he had.
Was it the boss one?
No, I don't think it was that one. But no, it was one of Fish's cars that he had like 4 years ago. And then after that, the same event, it was when Chair Slayer and like, the Hoonigan, some of the Hoonigan guys came down. And Chair Slayer gave me some ride alongs in his S13 LS swapped, and that thing was a freaking monster.
That's got like a NASCAR V8 in there. That thing revs so high.
What?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Chair
How
Slayer,
did he get his hands on that?
I have no idea.
He must rebuild it quite often for the abuse that he puts it through.
I don't even want to know the bill on that.
Oh yeah, it's also he drives with his hands too, so the mechanism just to allow it to even do that is probably pretty expensive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Chair Slayer, man, shout out. He's insane when it comes to like his engineering prowess.
Dylan, what was your first drift car you rode in?
So that would actually be my teammate's S13 hatch. So he had an RB25 in there at the time. And that I got like a couple ride-alongs back to back, and I was absolutely hooked after that. That thing was a ripper, so much fun, and we just basically kept going after that. Now we're on follow play and do all that. Isaac now has an LS and a Z, or on his well, he has a Z and a S14 or S13 now, so he has the LS in there, and it's just wild.
Jesus, okay. Let's see. My first one was Calman's party car.
Really?
Yep, that was the first time I ever got in a drift car. Because I was at the last comp. I think it was the last comp at round one or last year, the Invitational.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ross is like, "Hey, Colin, you going out for a lap?" He goes, "No, but I can." He grabs a helmet, throws it at me, says, "Get in the car. You're going for a lap."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." And then the second car I ever rode in was Ross's current car. I was like, "Okay, yep, I see why you guys want to do this. I get it. I don't have the money to build your cars, but I get it."
No, yeah.
Yeah. Those cars are wild.
Some of you guys, so what you guys I find is kind of cool. Is I'll use round two as an example. Is the span of cars, the variety of cars that was up there, and watching what you guys all did with those cars, because you had like Colin in a basically I would call a near if not prospect built car.
Yeah.
Down
Oh,
to
absolutely.
Brian, yours is pretty much a stock Z with what did you do to your Z?
I haven't done anything, man. Besides bolt
So
on, putting a seat in it. All I
so
did,
you
it's stock. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I want to change out is the diff. I have a 3.5 diff in it right now. I want to swap to a 3.7 diff. But
okay?
that is so it's fun because when I'm driving with Dylan, he makes like 200 more than me, and I'm just I'm just doing my best.
That's
No,
go.
the runs at 93 that me and Ryan got together were just so much fun because he was able to keep up. I was just blowing the tires off, and he was right there on my door. Like, he doesn't need that much power to actually be able to keep up, just like in the comp. I mean, we had James Hahn and the Miata going up against other people, and he's right there too. That's the best part about the layouts and just how it runs there, that power doesn't really come into factor.
That's a good point. Like I said, I thought it was impressive just watching you guys drive. We'll go back to car stuff because I feel like we can talk forever about just random car crap.
Yeah.
Because we'll just go on. I just want to focus on this real quick. Is what did you guys think of? We'll say round one and two so far of Daily Drift Comp series. And how'd you like the layout? Give me your feedback on it. I want to see what you guys think. Dylan, go first.
Okay. So honestly, I love how they flow for the competition wise. They actually make it flow super quick. So we're not sitting there waiting at grid too long. It's just, we actually are able just to get in battle so you can get out of the car, grab a few drinks, in between, but you're not just sitting there in grid. So it's actually great on that aspect. The staging, everything has been phenomenal. How they ran this event. Huge shout out to Adam for setting everything up. Like honestly, this has been the easiest comp to be in and just the most fun vibes too. Like it just everything goes so well and just everybody's happy for each other. Like you get out of the car after battle and you're like, dude, that was a nice battle. Nice to meet you. Gotta do it again, meet up at some other events, just and then meeting the people that have come to these events too. Like so many different drivers you probably normally wouldn't get a chance to drive with, like Ian Lawrence, you got Justin Ruth, Tim Sheenan, my teammate for the competition, Eric Haas. I'm not gonna even pronounce his last name because it's long. But you just got all these crazy drivers, and it's so much fun. I got to know Kyle Gerber, and now we're really close. And just there's so many cool people.
One thing I did notice just on that is like seeing some of you guys interact, and some of you guys have never met. You guys live in the same state or like in the same area, but you have never just happened to cross paths.
That's actually the truth for me and Ryan. We never really crossed paths until I think it was round 2 is when we actually like fully talked to each other because I bought a diff from him for my car that I currently have in there now. And then 93, we just started tandeming a bunch together, and now we're homies.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. See, drifting's awesome, guys. You should definitely come out and even if you spectate, come out and meet these drivers. Have some fun.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the drivers, honestly, just like I feel like Ross is like the gold standard. He don't care who you are. He will pull you from the crowd, throw a helmet on you. It's not even your helmet. He doesn't care. It's a freaking borrowed helmet.
Somebody will give you a helmet.
And it just you get in the car. Like for the longest time when I was really just getting started, I actually was starting to get bored doing a lot of just solo runs because for the longest time I wasn't really comfortable tandeming just because Bluesy's my Halo car and I don't want to really risk it by tandeming a lot or at least getting close tandems with it. Unlike my other cars where I'm like, yo, put it on my door, I don't care. But like driving solo is not fun. It's when you're either tandeming, you can really push yourself, or when you have someone else in the car that doesn't do this often or isn't around, every event, or he doesn't even have like a manual car, a drift car, any of that. Seeing their reaction is just like what for the longest time, probably for like a good 2 years, what like kept me really wanting to continue drifting because I was like driving alone, just you get to a point where you can drop the same lap every lap. The only thing is, unless you're going to different tracks, it's fun because then you're pushing yourself. But if you're doing the same track time and time again, solo, you'll get bored. But right when you bring in a passenger, who cares who it is? It's some, 14, 15-year-old kid who's just fresh trying to find what a car he wants to get. And you have that ability to be like, I'll show you what's like, get into drifting, dude. Get a Z, get this, like hop in. I've had kids at the Milwaukee Mile last year, like completely just fanboy looking in my car and stuff. And I'm like, I love it. I just love it for the spectators because they're the people who make the events fun.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I always carry 2 helmets with me besides mine just so I can give people ride-alongs and give them that experience because you give them that experience and they're hooked. Immediately they're hooked on this. They'll come to events. They're just going to be there to hang out. It's just a great time. I mean, and it's just more fans, more spectators, and then getting them in the car community. That's just what it comes down to. We need more fans and we need more people that are into cars.
Yeah, basically you guys are fighting to keep the sport alive because what the automotive industry is facing in general of these standards and the push to basically kill off the combustion engine.
You're not wrong. Exactly. Everything is going EV, so and hybrid, so we got to keep pushing it so that way people still want to buy even manual vehicles. They hardly sell manual vehicles anymore just because everything's automatic,
which is so sad to see.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's sad that this is the way the industry is going. They just want to push for better safety and better I guess what is it, EPA regulations and all that garbage that doesn't really do anything. So they're not pushing the performance level side of it. They're just pushing the EPA, I guess, health, environment, safety side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I find really annoying because I've done the statistics and like I really don't like or I don't really care to have like a really fun daily car. I typically just drive my truck every day. So it's funny when I get attacked for the EPA, yet my car touches the track maybe 20 to 30 times a year. It's only driven at the track, it's trailered to the track. And so it's it's just they're targeting the wrong people because racing isn't hurting anyone. It doesn't do the damage that they think. They're like, oh, we're not like most of the people that I know that are driving to the track are usually trailering their cars. Like the people that are trying to push their cars to the limit that actually are the ones that the EPA are trying to attack. People that are tuning, people that are trying to push high power. Our cars aren't driven on the road 24/7. We're not just burning gas unneededly. It's like we're at the track, we're doing competition, we're competing, whatever it so be. We're in a justified spot, but because of people, trying to save nothing, because again, our cars barely touch the street. My car hasn't seen the street since I've owned it.
Exactly. I'm the same
Day
way.
out my butt.
Yeah, we get done with an event, we load it on the trailer. It doesn't daily drive all the way through there.
Yeah, and I think I like you guys are saying just how like you use it Ross's example, like you guys and ladies, you all will pretty much just let, especially if it's, jam session, whatever you guys want to call it, like somebody wants to get in, like hop in, dude. Like let's spread the love. Let's get to spread this knowledge and the passion for the sport. And I think it's super cool because where was it? Rockford Speedway. I heard a story about this kid. Actually a local kid I know. He's like 8 years old, and he went up to see a family friend of his drift, and he'd never been in the car. So they let this kid hop in, and the kid is ecstatic. So now him and his dad are starting a project build because his dad's always wanted to drift because he got a ride too. So I think that's super cool.
I completely agree. The amount of people that I know they do it as like a bonding thing with their family, or like it's a dad and son, dad and daughter, whoever it is. No, it's really cool to have that. My dad doesn't really care or understand drifting. He kind of understands the competition aspect of it though, but he doesn't understand the judging. He's more of a traditional like racer, like
Start
like,
finish.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, you were in front, so you won. But for I mean, it's still a battle to this day, but like it's hard not having that sometimes because it's like I wish my family was more there at the events, just supportive. But
Has your dad ever gone for a ride?
no, God no,
Get him in the car.
you won't, you won't.
No.
Nope, he says you won't, man. I've had my grandpa in the car. I've had my grandma in the car. I've had my mom in the car, my brother, his fiance. I've had almost everyone in my family in my car besides my dad.
What if we got Dylan to give him a ride? You think he'd get in if it wasn't you, or is it he just doesn't want to get in the car?
Dude, he's just weird. He's so weird about it.
I honestly feel like he's just giving you a hard time going, no, no. And I'm
I'm just
sure he knows you can drive your ass off.
I tell him all the time. I'm like, you gotta get in the car. Like I'm like, I'll give you the comfiest bucket seat I have. Get in the car.
Cadillac seat entered.
Like,
Right?
oh my gosh.
Just bring him to one of the events and just don't even give him an option. Just throw him in the car.
He'll fight me, man.
No,
I've like
you got to play this right, dude. Like, hey, Dad, car's running. Where can you hop in for a ride and just let me know what you think? Like, we'll just go around the parking lot.
yeah,
And
then straight to the
I think
That
he
would
would be
work.
a little mad, but I think it'd work out great. And I have to. Somebody's got to record that.
like, dude, you know how funny it is that like my like 80-year-old grandpa got in the passenger seat. Imagine putting a helmet on an 80-year-old man.
And say, hold on.
It is so funny.
Oh, jeez.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
My best compliment I've ever received in drifting is from my grandpa, where he said, "Ryan, I thought I was a bad driver, but you're a badder driver," and that has never gone for me.
That is a great saying.
Yeah, dude, that was definitely a high.
You need to make that a decal and just have like start slapping on just some like badass drivers' cars, like guys you think are just great drivers, or like somebody who just stands out. Here's a sticker. It's just something funny. I saw somebody do that with something else, and I thought it was a neat idea. Let's see. Just real quick, continue on like with the event, like you guys said, getting people in the cars, getting to spread the love, getting people involved, even if they say, like example, Ryan's grandpa or Gil. I don't know if maybe you put somebody in the car that can't quite participate or doesn't want to, but understands and appreciates the sport. I think is huge because for me, for a long time, I didn't understand drifting. Like I was like, what's the whole get up about it? And that's when I said I got my first ride. And after that, I was like, I understand on a different level now. Like I was searching. I had a car lined up to go buy a drift car, my first car for a drift car, just to learn. And then life took a different change. But like I thought it was super neat. Like getting in the car helps. I've gotten like 8 people involved now, just showing them drifting videos, showing them stuff like that. Getting them, I got two of them out to the event. Like, dude, I thought I like drag racing. Screw drag racing, man. This is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's cool because like I think that people enjoyed getting to meet you. So
exactly. Trying to explain drifting to somebody without actually giving them a ride along or having them come to an event to actually see for themselves and understand what's going on is so difficult because everybody's like, so did you win the race or how did you do? And it's like, it's really hard to understand. It's like to explain to them if they have no understanding of what drifting is.
Yeah, that's when you always need to give answers. Yeah, I had fun.
Exactly. Just a blanket answer.
Oh, my dad for a long time always said that. Like, did you do like what did you do? And I was like, it was a good day. The car did good. That's it.
Like, okay, good talk.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break so I can open up a new room. We'll come back and continue on this, and then we can just kind of rock and roll with some random fun banter. And then we'll cover some questions if any of you guys have them off Instagram or whatever. So I'm gonna send you guys a new one, and give me about 10 minutes. We'll get rock and rolling. For you guys listening, it's gonna be about 3 seconds. So we'll catch you guys in a bit.
That's it.